Camels and their relatives have long, slender legs and a distinctive gait known as pacing, whereby the front and back legs on the same side move forward together in a rocking motion. Of the Old World camelids, the camels, only one species, the Bactrian camel, from the border area between western China and Mongolia, now survives in the wild. A camel is able to drink up to 1/4 of its weight at a time, and can store the water for several days. The New World members of this family, the guanaco and vicuna, are found wild in South America. Their domestic descendants, the llama and alpaca, have been bred in the Andes since the time of the Inca civilization. All domesticated camelids are vital to human survival. They provide people with hair, milk, and transportation. Camelids have a relatively small head, a long, thin neck, and a split upper lip. Camels have either one hump, the dromedary, or two humps, the Bactrian camel. These store fat that can be drawn on during lean times. All camelids have a thick coat that provides insulation against daytime heat and warmth during the cooler nights or at altitude. Unlike other hoofed mammals, camelids rest their weight not on their hooves but on the undersides of the two digits on each foot, which are cushioned by a fatty pad. This is an adaptation to walking on sandy soil. Camelids are unique among mammals in that they have oval red blood cells, possibly so that these cells can be transported around the body easily, even if the blood is thickened due to dehydration. In the wild, camelids form groups that consist of one dominant male and a harem of females. Surplus males form bachelor bands. While the social systems of the South American camelids have not been studied in great detail, more is known about the way camels interact with each other. Both species go through an elaborate and dramatic ritual when a dominant male is faced with a challenger. First, the harem leader grinds his teeth, rubs a gland on the back of his head against his hump, or front hump in the case of the Bactrian camel, smacks his tail loudly against his rump, and urinates on his back legs, rump, and tail. The two camels then pace side by side, display their tall, humped profiles, and extrude a red bladder-like sac, the dulla, from the corner of the mouth. The only living Old World wild camelid is the Bactrian camel, although its numbers are now reduced to only 1,000–2,000 individuals. It is taller and slimy than its domestic counterpart and has more compact, pointed humps. Domestic Bactrian camels are used for transport in cold regions from northern China to Turkey. The dromedary is extinct in the wild, although feral herds now live in central Australia. Domestic dromedaries are found in hot regions in North and Northeastern Africa, the Middle East, and northern India through to Kazakhstan. As with other domestic animals, there are different breeds, one of which is kept for its speed and is used in camel racing. The llama is a domestic animal bred from the wild guanaco and is the traditional pack animal in the Andes. The alpaca is also a domestic species, bred for its fine wool. In the past, the alpaca wasn't thought to be a descendant of the guanaco, but current genetic evidence indicates that it is in fact a descendant of the vicuna, the fine-fleeced, wild camelid of the high-altitude Andes. Found in tundra-like grasslands at 12,000 to 16,000 feet, 3,600 to 4,800 meters, the vicuna is a strict and selective grazer, grasping perennial grasses with its prehensile, cleft upper lip and snipping off the tips against the tough upper pad. It needs to drink daily. Family groups of one male, 5 to 10 females, and their young occupy territories, delineated mainly by dung. Bachelor males form roving bands. The guanaco prefers cold habitats, mainly grasslands, but also scrub and forest, at heights up to 13,000 feet, 4,000 meters. It browses and grazes on many grasses and shrubs, as well as lichens and fungi. Typical family groups consist of one male and 4 to 7 females with young. In the north of its range, the offspring leave their group at about 1 year of age, compared to nearer 2 years in more southerly populations. Young males form bachelor bands. Old males are mostly solitary in their lifestyle. Endangered in the wild, this two-humped camel can withstand temperatures from -20 degrees Fahrenheit, -29 degrees Celsius, to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 38 degrees Celsius. After a drought, it can drink 29 gallons, 110 liters, of water in 10 minutes. It eats grasses, leaves, and shrubs. During the rut, males puff out their cheeks, toss their heads back, and grind their teeth. The winner gains 6 to 30 females and offspring. One young, rarely twins, is born after 406 days gestation and is suckled for 1 to 2 years. Females attain sexual maturity at 3 to 4 years, males at 5 to 6 years. Extinct in the wild, this one-hump domestic camel shows many adaptations to desert life, losing up to 40% of its body weight when food and water are scarce. allowing its temperature to rise in hot conditions. It reduces sweating to conserve moisture. It feeds on a huge variety of plants, including salty and thorny species, and also scavenges on bones and dried out carcasses. Dromedaries form small herds of several females and young, and one male, who defends them by spitting, biting, and leaning on opponents.